Fanya uamuzi wa busara. Usikose kutazama Kenya ya Amua kila Jumapili kwenye runinga uipendayo ya KBC Channel 1.
Mse, huyo tumbo karai. Sio huyo kwa pande hii. Unaona hiyo mkono wake bila natosana. Haisi kula unga ati kilo 2 ati asibe huyu.
Mse, nikikula mfuko 2 ni sako. Unaninunulianga.
Hajawahi muona.
Hiyo ndio kweli wa mambo. Nyelele ni ya nini unaleta hapa? Kama ucheniona
yako 40, yako 40 imefika.
Stop there.
Hii ni mnyang'anyani, hii ni mwabaki.
Huyu akisimamisha gari, huyu anakuja na anaingilia.
Hii ni muli bakwa, hii ni mshukui ya pesa.
Yaani wewe nyamaza. Na usiingilie mambo ya watu wawili. Ndio kolia. Wewe ni kazi gani unafanyanga?
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
For her.
I'm afraid everyone in the whole world knows that they can't find you in your mansion in the north. But they'll find you here. Wow, you're pretty good with the ladies.
Huh?
Congratulations, Your Majesty, Your Highness.
Please inform Echo that I wish to speak with him right now.
I suggest you leave.
But no matter how much it hurts, I have to get you out of my head and of my heart.
But what worries me is that if my daughter reconciles with her husband, how will she explain to him that she sold the house that he gave her without his authorization?
I don't think it's a good idea after what Nuria did and how she threatened my sons.
My dad and my mom are getting divorced.
Wewe umelala fofofo. Hata una habari kama huyu ametumwa aje nimalize.
Mimi niwe na wasiwasi. Chief Puka the Great Kahindi. Laaniwe mimi kusaidia wewe mspaide mwangu. Wewe una wasimu.
Machozi ya samaki hayafai chochote hapa. Sikutaki kwangu. Nishakwambia.
Kama anda kwa Laban, hata ni heri shopping yako mregeshe mwenye duka, manake huko pia hayuko.
Umejuaje?
As campaign intensified for the upcoming general election, what does all this mean for you, the voter? What do the candidates have to offer? How prepared are agencies charged with the election process? Join John Kuria and Serfine Achieng on Kenya Decides. This and every Tuesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 as we unpack elections 2022 with a panel of various stakeholders. Make informed electoral decisions.
Good morning, and thank you so much for tuning into KBC Channel 1. This is News Check, a program that seeks to explore issues shaping the news in the country. And we are in that electoral season. And of course, the country is just about to go to the general election in the month of August, less than 60 days to go, and the countdown continues. And what we have been doing in this program is just to highlight some of the issues that are coming up on this whole journey of the elections. And today we want to talk about the inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics and generally in the electoral process, a very crucial part and a part of the society that for a very long time has been left behind when decisions are being made, such as now when the country is deciding who is going to be part and parcel of the next leadership. What has been done to ensure that they are part of that conversation, not just as participants, but also as people who are vying and also as people who have the power to elect somebody who will represent their interests, that is being voters. What have we done to make it easy for them to be voters? What have we done to make the playing field equal for them to participate as candidates? And what have we done to ensure that as many of them as possible get elected into office? We'll be talking about some of the bottlenecks, the barriers, the gains we have achieved as a country, and what persons with disabilities want different. And of course, they always say you cannot have a conversation about us without us. And they're here with me in studio this morning. I'll just let you in on who I'm hosting in studio. I'll start with the gentleman because this morning we seem to be dominating the ladies. So his name is Joseph Atela. He is the Executive Director of CDP OK. And of course we have Halima Sheriff, who is the woman representative candidate for Kajiado County. And we'll be letting you tell us a bit more about why you're vying and what your agenda for the people of Kajiado is. But thank you so much, Joseph and Halima, for creating time for us.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
And you can also be part of this conversation. Just, come in and participate by engaging us on social media at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag you're using is NewsCheck. Any question you have for my panel this morning or anything you'd like to add as a person with disability or as a concerned party, what is it that you're concerned about when it comes to inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics in the country? What would you like highlighted? So that is what we're discussing this particular morning. And of course, in between the program, we'll be linking up with our reporters who are tracking different events for us in the country. But let's begin our conversation straight away. And I'd just like us to start by, just Joseph Atela telling us a bit about the consortium of persons with disabilities in Kenya. Just tell us a bit about what is it that is your mandate?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for hosting us, Serfine. The Consortium for Disabled Persons Organizations in Kenya, CDPOK, is an umbrella organization with currently 124 affiliate disabled persons organization members across the country. And this organization has been, was formed by persons with disabilities, and its mandate is to amplify the voices of persons with disabilities across the country. And currently, we are running an inclusive elections program. And this is a program where we work with 15 major political parties across the country, where we are advocating for the inclusion of people with all kinds of disabilities within the political parties. And again, in the program, we are also working with the key partner or the key stakeholder in the program is the IBC. And we also partner with KNCHR. We partner with NCIC. So we are working towards inclusion. The process, election is a process. It shouldn't be an event. So we started working on this 2 years ago. And since we have elections this year, so it is this year that majority would say that we are so much on the limelight. But in real sense, we started working last year. And for information, we realized that political parties, there are those political parties that have been really willing to be guided by us so that they implement the inclusion, not only to feel or to be in good books with the ORPP. No, there are those who have goodwill, and for the first time in our country, we saw a big number of persons with disabilities going for the elective positions when you remember the party primaries.
All right.
Yes.
And we have one who is sitting with us this morning, and we'll talk more about you and why you're vying in just a bit. But right now, let's just follow up on something else that is happening in the country. We are crossing over to Radisson Blue, and this particular morning, the ICT Authority Acting CEO Paul Kiprono is speaking at a forum on digital agriculture and youth involvement in the sector. Let's just listen into what is happening.
We were thinking at teaming up with you people, all your free phones, can you give us? We want to put a very serious refurbishing center at Konsa in the next 2 months, so that apart from the phones, even the computers you have, which you are not using, somebody else is suffering. If you can get that computer or that phone, you call it not smartphone because of technology changes, but for a farmer and for ordinary Kenyans, it is very useful. And we thought that if we team up with you people and with the private sector and with the development partners and with government, we can really mop those phones. We put up a center in Konsa, we refurbish them. Those ones which are useful, we can take them back to farmers. The one which we cannot refurbish, we can recycle them as a way of addressing the issue of e-waste. The third one is the issue of tools, what we call the products and services in the digital space. And I want to give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. If you are to go from here to Kisumu by road, you may not pay anything apart from food you will eat on the road. If you are to foot, I'm talking about footing. No one should deny you to foot from here to Kisumu. But when you reach Kisumu and you want to buy a product, I should charge you. And that is when you pay taxes now for that road. Same case to internet services. Can we allow our people to access this information superhighway? When they arrive at your store, you can now charge and tell them, I have product A, B, C, D. Can you buy them? And the prices are 1, 2, 3. By so doing, you will really spur innovation. You will spur economic growth. You will make everybody productive. But when I block you from going to the shop because you don't have anything to sell in the shop, that is not right. And I'm talking about affordability of internet connectivity in this country. So as we develop this product, which I wanted to ask you to team up with us, we have connected farmers in some markets in Nairobi. I'm looking for someone to provide some phones, someone to tell us what is in the digital store, someone to train. And that is what makes life easy, and also make our discussion here be productive. You know, we can talk and talk, but what about it? We need to say, after this talk, this is what we have done as a team. The second item is that we realize that there is need to engage everybody. There are things outside the space. There are things which are not in this room, in Nairobi, in town. But the future economic revolution for any nation is in the rural areas. And there is need to engage the rural team so that we can go together as a team. And those rural people, that is where innovation is. You know, some of us, maybe we have read too much. We know too much. But there's a young guy in the rural area who is very sharp.
All right, so that is an event that is currently underway. We are tracking that for you as well. Currently speaking there is the ICT Authority Acting CEO, Paul Kiprono, addressing those who have attended this particular event on the digital agriculture and the need to include the young people in the sector. Of course, we'll be giving you more details about some of the resolutions that they're going to come up with on how to make this possible in the course of our day's broadcast. But in studio this morning, we are talking about another form of inclusion, and that is the inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics. There's been a lot of barriers that have made it impossible for them not to participate in the electoral process, not as voters, not just as candidates, but also as people who actually have the power to elect, others who will represent them. So we want to talk about how they can have a say on the decision-making table. And of course, in studio with me this morning, I'm having a panel of two, a lady and a gentleman. Joseph Atela, the Executive Director of the Consortium of Disabled Persons Organizations in Kenya, and Halima Sheriff, who is a woman representative candidate in Kajiado County. And I was just about to come to you, Halima, to get to know more about the genesis of this journey, that you have embarked on. Just to tell us more about who Halima is, and of course, what is your interest for the residents of Kajiado?
Thank you so much. I'm very humbled to be here today, this morning. It is a very big privilege for me to talk to the entire country about inclusion and persons with disability in politics, because we've been in this journey, political parties and also in leadership in general. As a woman and persons with disability who is contesting, who is a candidate in Kajiado, I am.
What motivated you to want to go for this seat?
Yes, what motivated me is, in fact, the constitutional right first, because as a person with disability, I have that right, and it is giving me a mandate as a person with disability, Article 54 and Article 19, and also Article 24 as a minority and ethnic. So I was in politics ever since, and backing people to go and work for us in the National Assembly and also in County Assembly, because we've been working as a campaign team from governors, women representatives, and also MCAs and Member of Parliament. But sometimes I feel as a person with disability, we miss that chance because of being set aside as persons with disability. We have the nomination slot, so we can't go for elective seat and address our issues at the county assemblies and national assemblies. So the thing which motivated me, because I've been working with the organizations at the grassroots, partnering with my chairperson, the executive director, Joseph Atela, addressing issues of persons with disability. So when it comes to at a national level, sometimes it is very hard for us to address our issues because we have very few people who are nominated at the National Assembly, County Assembly, so we don't have that strength to go and address the issues. So for me, as a person with disability and having that constitutional right, I was motivated, and I said, no, this time round, I have to go and seek for that elective seat, not nominated, so that I can go and address all the issues and many more as persons with disability, to have that strength, because when you are elected, you have more strength than being nominated, because sometimes when you are nominated, you just become very weak because you are few, and also you can't talk much because you become under your party leader. Under your
so it doesn't give you that much of an authority to influence change?
To influence change and to address the issues, because sometimes you are few, and also as a first of all, I'm humble to remind people I am an independent candidate who is seeking for the women representative Kajiado County. So if you address the issue, like my brother Mheshimiwa Isaac Mwaura, he has been very vocal in this country on our issues, but also because he was on that party nomination list.
Okay.
It happened whatever happened to him, because you don't have that freedom of addressing the issues as persons with disability, and also as a member
well
of
said,
parliament.
Halima. I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
So that you tell me how it's going. You being an independent candidate.
Yes.
And of course, you know, getting into elective position also.
Yes.
What are the lessons? What are some of the challenges that you have observed so far?
Of course, there are a lot. And the lessons are
a lot.
Yeah, very.
Okay. Just to add on what she was bringing out. You know, the nomination and compared to the elective positions, maybe there is something that also you can add on to that, because for a very long time it was a start, it was a step to create the nomination slots and give the positions to those that were considered vulnerable and marginalized in the society, persons with disabilities included in that category. Do you feel like that was a raw deal also?
Serfine, I would say that nomination of persons with disabilities to represent their colleagues wasn't a raw deal. Yeah, when we go to the Bill of Rights, we realize that there is affirmative action, and through affirmative action, the idea is or was to ensure that one is empowered, and then they go look for those positions, you know.
Yeah.
So we've realized a number of times, our representative Senator Mwaura and even Honorable Sankok and Denita and Senator Gertrude, a number of times their hands are tied at their back. They are so willing to table bills that would positively impact the lives of people with disabilities, but since they don't have that strong voice, when you are nominated, you are not entitled to a number of things, or a number of things that would bring advantage to you, and even their colleagues do mock them, you know, do ask them, the people they represent, they are not elected. So this one of the reasons that for the last 2 years we've been calling on political parties and even persons with disabilities. If you are not willing to work with a political party, you are allowed to go as an independent candidate. And that's why my sister, Honorable Lima here, is going as an independent candidate. And for example, if we can prove, we've proved that people with disabilities are able to deliver. The few that have been elected, if we go to Westlands, you know, we find Honorable Tim Wanyonyi is more than able. He has delivered. And in fact, we were very hopeful that he would go for the gubernatorial position. And you know, so many things happened, but again, he's going to defend this Westland seat. So us, we really encourage people with disabilities to go and seek for these electoral positions.
I want you to talk to me about what you have observed, because yes, we're talking about elective positions for persons with disabilities, and both of you agree that it would be more impactful and effective in addressing the interest of persons with disabilities in the country. What has been the barriers and the bottlenecks that have blocked persons with disabilities to go for these elective positions?
First, it's a bit I normally say that disability is related to poverty. A number of times you find that people with disabilities, they are not stable financially. And in African politics, if not Kenyan only, resources are needed. So a number of us are so willing, but we really need some resources in order for one to run a political campaign. You know? And without this, people might be willing to support you, but again, you need to appreciate some, you know? Yeah, so first is finance. Second, the playground is not normally friendly, you know?
Sure.
When you look at the rallies held by the political party leadership, when you go to, when you look at them, you find that accessibility is a challenge, you know? My sister works with a crutch. She is more stable than I, you know. I have calipers. With her, she doesn't use calipers. So to her, she'll still strain to access the podium.
To climb up high.
To climb up. And to me...
And to stand for those long hours.
Yes.
Of course.
And to me, to somebody like me, it's like impossible.
Impossible.
If I don't have people to carry me to the podium, I can't access it completely. You know?
I'll come back to you because I see Halima has something to add
on it. We are very, very somehow neglected, because whenever they have their rallies, the podium, they make the podium, they don't remember their people with disability, leave alone being a candidate as them. Even their supporters who are PWDs, they're coming to support them, but they don't have that ramp for us. So it is very unfortunate, because accessing it is like a hell for us, and they don't even care, because you just come, you see, even sometimes you want to come to the podium, you see like they're telling you, panda tu.
Yeah, you
panda tu.
Pambana na hali, what others
yes.
say. Yeah,
and there was a day I was almost to slip off of the stairs, yeah, because it is made hand in a bow, alafu not very stiff, unaona. So it is like, oh my God. So I'm not even remembered in this meeting. So it is like a hell to us, you know.
Yeah,
leave alone being a candidate, even a supporter who is following them as a team, campaign team, of which in Kajiado they don't have.
All right.
They don't have one of us.
You've been part and parcel of, for a long time you've been in politics.
Yes.
But in the, in the, let's say the kitchen, being part of the campaign and helping in the campaign process before you decided to vie. Had you tried at one point or in many occasions to bring some of these issues on the table?
Always. But it is very unfortunate, even when we had a consensus for Jubilee. First and foremost, I was a Jubilee aspirant when we were doing the consensus, because Jubilee didn't go for nomination, so they decided to do it the other way. They did it as a consensus. So we were told by the candidate, the governor, the Jubilee governor, who is a candidate as like me, we were told to come with 2 elders, each and every aspirant. That time we were aspirants, so each and every aspirant to come with 2 candidates, two elders. So me as a person with disability, I decided to come with 2 elders. When we had the panel, the consensus panel, we were told everybody to get in with the elders, the candidate, the aspirants, and the 2 elders to get in, and we were told sasa hapa to consensus, tukimaliza hii consensus, I hope kila mtu atakuwa satisfied na vile hawa panel watasema, na mtaamua kuunga chama mkono. So me I was just observing, then I raised my hand. Kuna mtu akona swali, I raised my hand. Yes, mimi niko na swali. Mheshimiwa Governor, naona uko na panel, ndio sijakataa, lakini panel yako haijakuwa friendly kwangu kwa sababu mimi sina mwakilishi wangu wa ulemavu hapo. Na mimi kama ni minority na Muslim, nimeona umeleta mtu wa kanisa religion, religious, kuna apostle, kuna pastor, kuna bishop. Sijaona umeleta Muslim elder hapa kwa panel yako.
All right. Allow me to cut you short. I'll come back to you so that you tell me what was their response and whether you were satisfied with that. But I just want us to also follow up on something that is happening right now at the Kenya Medical Training College. Currently speaking is the chief guest at a function that is set to see students being taught how to treat cervical lesions that could develop into cancer. Currently speaking is Dr. Patrick Amoth, the Director General of Health. Let's listen into what he's saying.
Kenya has one of the highest rates of cervical cancer globally, and it is the leading cause of cancer mortality among women, contributing to about 5,236 new cases and 3,211 deaths annually. So cervical cancer is number 2 according to the Kenya Cancer Registry in terms of the burden of the disease, but becomes number 1 in terms of mortality. And if you can compare this mortality, annual mortality, vis-a-vis COVID-19 mortality, since 2020 we have reported 5,651 COVID-related deaths. And you see the kind of investment the global community has made. It is imperative that we also now start to think internally as low-middle income countries to be able to see how we can get resources for problems that are unique to us so that we offer our own solutions to our problems. The WHO launched a global strategy to accelerate the elimination of cervical cancer as a public health problem in 2020 with the 90-70-90 targets to be achieved by 2030. That is 90% of the girls to be fully vaccinated against cervical cancer with the HPV vaccine by the age of 15 years, 70% of women screened with a high precision test at between the ages of 35 and 45 years of age, and 90% of the women identified with cervical cancer disease receive treatment and care. Our approach towards one of the targets, the HPV vaccination, was a school-based approach. And you remember in 2020, 2021, the interventions we put in place to be able to control COVID-19 vaccines included closure of schools. Therefore, that interfered with the progress we are making towards HPV vaccination. And when we looked at the data from the Kenya Health Information System, we realized that we are lagging behind, and we quickly put interventions into place to ensure that there is continued availability of routine healthcare services, including immunization services. And to be able to catch up with those we had missed during those difficult 2-year period, we decided to do what we call periodic intensification of routine immunization towards the end of the year last year, that is the first week of December to April this year. And during this period, we increased HPV vaccination from 31% to 41%. So a target of 90% by 2030, and we are already 41% in 2022. And with the measures we are putting in place, including this equipment that we are going to launch here today, I think, and the focus on service delivery at level 2, level 3 facilities, and also level 1 through outreach services in partnership with our counties, that even though our figures may look, the journey may look monumental, it is achievable if we join hands together. Health workforce is one of the critical pillars of any healthcare system. And lack of skills among primary healthcare workers is one of the major gaps in cervical cancer prevention and control across the country. One of the key mandates of the Ministry of Health is to build and expand the human resource capacity for cancer screening and early diagnosis to increase cancer screening coverage and improve outcomes. And that is why we are investing more in the health workforce through this investment in pre-service training, which will be able to give us better dividend than if we wait until they qualify, then we call them for in-service training. Again, that will also increase the cost. The learning curve tends to be longer. So pre-service training would be the best approach, and we are going to embrace it fully. There's no better way of improving your healthcare system than investing in your health workforce. Because ordinarily, any healthcare system, 75% of the resources go towards the health workforce in terms of salaries, wages, stipends, allowances, and the rest. So this is one of the priority actions of the National Cancer Control Strategy 2017-2022. And one of the activities being undertaken is the cervical cancer screen and treat program being implemented in 25 counties in collaboration with CHAI. And through this program, more than 6,000 primary healthcare workers have been trained on cervical cancer screen and treat with the loop electrosurgical excision procedure and ablation devices distributed across the facilities to improve cervical cancer screening and treatment of precancerous lesions. And I agree with Mr. Macharia, cryotherapy belongs to the past. We are also aware of the effects of these gases in terms of climate change, and therefore we should be able to embrace modern technology and innovations to be able to get better outcomes for better population health. It is notable that we have also integrated breast cancer early diagnosis and clinical breast examination as a core competency skill in these trainings, because breast cancer is the #1 cancer according to the Kenya Cancer Registry. So trying to tie #1 and #2 together to be able to develop a joint intervention is a double win for us. Through the partnership of CHAI, a total of 125 KMTC lecturers drawn from 9 clusters spread out the entire country were trained on screening and treatment of precancerous lesions. As a way forward and to ensure sustainability, the lecturers should now disseminate the training content to their fellow colleagues and to their students. And then this training, when a CEO, should be integrated in the nursing training curriculum. All participants should practice screening and fill their individual logbooks as part of their competency accreditation before formal registration by the appropriate regulatory body. The Ministry of Health is confident that through this training,
All right, so that is Dr. Patrick Amoth, the Director General Health, and of course he's the chief guest at an event that is currently underway as the Kenya Medical Training College is set to introduce a new curriculum, something in their curriculum called cryotherapy that is set to help the students learn skills that will be pivotal in helping fight cancer in the country. According to Dr. Amoth there, Kenya still has the highest number of cancer-related deaths in East Africa, as cervical cancer accounts for 3,286 deaths annually in this particular country. So this is going to be pivotal in helping us reduce these numbers and also avert the spread of cervical cancer in the country. And of course, we are also talking about something in studio this morning concerning the inclusion of persons with disabilities disabilities in politics as we head to the 2022 general election. Many of them have come out to express their interest to vie for different elective positions, and others are part and parcel of those who have been registered as voters. But what has been done to ensure that those who want to vie secure a win when it comes to the August polls, and also what has been done to ensure that those who will be voting have access and can be able to vote in a very conducive and comfortable environment. We are talking about those technicalities and what needs to change to ensure that persons with disabilities are part and parcel of this process with my panelists this morning. And Halima, earlier before we took the link, you were telling me about an incident you went through in this whole process of you vying, and this was before you became an independent candidate.
Yes.
I just want us to pick up from there so that you can tell us a bit about the concern you raised and how they responded to it, and the verdict at the end of the day. What was it like for you as a candidate who is a person with disability?
Yeah, thank you so much. After I raised the concern about inclusivity, the response wasn't fair to me, because I was asked, mbona wewe hukuleta representative wako? Then I was like, I came with my 2 elder. The panel wasn't supposed to be me bringing in my representative. You are the persons to bring the representative at the panel, yeah? So it was like, it was like an offensive, because, and I stood up and I said, if I have offended you people, I'm sorry, but it is my constitutional right to ask. But I hope it will be free and fair for me, because I'm sensing something.
Why was it important for you to, or why is it important, generally speaking, to have persons with disabilities represented in forums such as those when political parties are making such crucial decisions? What will it change in the process?
You know, for me to have the change is, you know, nothing for us without us. If we have that panel, we have our representative, and our representative will address our issues, because you know, I am the shoe wearer. I feel the pinch, yeah? So you as a person's an able person, you cannot address my issues as much as a teller addressing my issues.
You are the one who knows where the shoe pinches.
Yeah. because he knows much about our issues and our challenges than you yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
And that led, one thing led to the other, and today you're here as an independent candidate for the Kajiado Woman Representative seat, and we'll continue dissecting more about that journey. And I just want us to talk about the inclusion of persons with disabilities in political parties. This is one of the programs that you have been running. And just to link up with what I asked her earlier, because that is where it starts. Before even one is given that ticket, that ticket of nomination, and they're told you're the one who is going to be flying our flag as a candidate for whichever position.
Right.
We rarely see persons with disabilities get that much coveted certificate. Where is the problem? Let's go back to where the decisions are made, where discussions about power are held. Where are the gaps? Where are the loopholes? Is it that we don't have persons with disabilities who can sit in these boards, in these committees?
We have.
Serfine, these are very sensitive questions.
Yeah.
And basically, this is what has killed our representation. But before I go, I answer that question. First, we were trying to, you asked on the challenges, and I didn't complete my submission in regards to that. And I would add that one of the challenges added on top is there is this notion when a person with disability goes to contest, you find that fellow contestants do insist to them that with them, they should not contest because they have nomination slots.
Yeah.
And I want to remind the nation, both aspirants and the political parties, that the nomination slots are very few. There are only 4 at National Assembly and the Senate, and there is only 2 per county.
Counties.
So all of us cannot fit the slots, and that has been a barrier as well, and also the issue of what would I say? When it comes to when it comes to the playground, as I was saying earlier, it isn't so friendly, and again, there is no that goodwill. We'd say that even giving a chance to persons with disabilities, you will hear these leaders call the women league leaders, the youth league leaders, and you will not even see representative or league disability league leaders given opportunity to talk.
Always a forgotten slot.
So these are one of the issues that really affect our representation and our participation in the political process. And finally, on that, and if you have been so keen, when you see the crowd that is in a political gathering, you would hardly see a person with crutches somewhere in the crowd. And this is because this crowd is not so friendly security-wise. You find there is a lot of push and pull.
It's uncontrolled.
Yeah. So those are things that we know the crowd we cannot control so much. But when it comes to DIA's representation, if their leaders are there, leaders of persons with disabilities, if they're there, they should be given a chance, at least to say something.
All right. So now that you've talked about the representation even at the political parties, and you've cited the Women League, the Youth League, and also the need to have a strong and vibrant Persons with Disability League. Let's talk about that, the political parties. To what extent have they hindered the emergence of leaders who are persons with disabilities, and also people who hold effective positions such as elective posts? How have political parties played a role in preventing that from happening?
I would say that in the past election, in 2017, going downwards, the inclusion was not embraced. And there was no even disability leagues in the political parties. But when we felt shortchanged, in fact we were shortchanged in the representation in the county government assemblies. So I'm one of the leaders that petitioned against the representation, And what we realized is that things don't work by just making noise or something about it. We came on the drawing board and we asked ourselves, now, we don't want to have this experience again from 2022 onwards, So we engaged political parties and 15 major ones that were willing to work with us in the Kenya Inclusive Political Parties program, and we engaged them. And I want to tell you that all these political parties formed disability leagues by, in a span of 8 months, they had formed their disability leagues. And there are 2 that have included their disability league policies in their constitution.
The political party constitution.
In the political party constitution.
2 parties.
But it came with a lot of backroom conversations and convincing. Yeah. And I just want to understand, what was the vision of this? What is it that you wanted this disability leagues to do within political parties? What is it that you were targeting that they would achieve?
When they are part of the decision makers, they'll speak their minds, and they'll also speak whatever the people they represent say on the ground. You know, so for the parties that have embraced that, we really appreciate them, that included us in their constitution, the disability leagues in their constitution. We really appreciate that. And even one of those political parties have even included us in their manifesto, you know. So that's a milestone. But again, we are urging persons with disabilities not to go sit and relax. You know, the journey is still long. We really need to ensure that we engage those who have political parties, those who are members of political parties. We really ensure that they are, they are on the decision-making table, you know. Yeah.
And you know, we'll talk more about that, but Halima, as somebody who is now on this journey as a candidate,
yes,
I know now you're an independent candidate,
yes,
and that was informed by something.
Yes.
But the situation was ideal,
yeah,
and you existed within a political party. As a candidate who is a person with disability, what would you have expected from your political party to boost your chances of securing a win in the seat that you're going for?
Okay, if I happen to be the candidate of the political party,
what would you have expected?
I would have expected them to give me an upper hand, to have more persons with disabilities in their campaign team, more persons with disability in their decision-making table, because my interest, it is for the entire county as their representative, woman representative, but also the persons with disability visibility, because coming from a pastoral county where they don't embrace persons with disability, for pastoralists, persons with disabilities like more of a curse than a human being like any other person. So I would expect for my party to give us that broader chance, for us to be known and to be active in politics, because me being there, I could have been their voice and representing them, to have them more on board, because we have so many campaign teams for governor, women representative, MCA, member of parliament, but for them to have their PWDs represented in the committee, it is you know, like and
they are not present.
Yeah, and if they have them present, they don't have you know, active people on any. Just to make it, you see, utazaona they have one person, but this person is not even on the move with them. Before I decided to be a candidate, to vie, we were the one to insist them to have meetings with us to seek votes, because they don't even come, and the way they call women chamas and women groups to have one-on-one word and asking them,
and business community,
please give me your votes, support me, what, asking their challenges. If you elect me as your leader, I will give you this. What do you think? If you elect me as a leader, what do you wish me to do to work for you? How, you know, for PWDs, we've been pushing all along. Since ever 2013, the devolution, we've been pushing. We are the ones looking for them, not them looking for us.
See, it is the voters looking for those who want to be voted.
Especially us, PWD groups. And I appreciate my director here, because even on the nomination slot, 2013 and 2017, he has been very vibrant and very helpful to us, because 2017 he was the first person to go and petition. He called us, we get our names, he petitioned for us, but it was so unfortunately because the case was thrown away. So the 17 counties which didn't have the nominated slot of persons with disability up to date, still vacant, of which it was our right as persons with disability to have our representative in all the counties. So,
if I may add something on that, Serfine, there is a fact that really we can't hide, is that persons with ability, I mean, are so many in Kenya, you know. If by 2010, the then consensus, it was the result of that consensus, we were 6.5 onwards, you know. So we are a number that can have our own county, you know. We can have our own governor, and we can have our own senator and MPs.
Even a president.
You know, even our president.
Because 6.5 from 209,
you know,
we can elect our
that's
own
a big number. So
cannot be ignored.
Yes, that's a number that you should not ignore. One should not ignore such a number. So that's one of the reasons we are advising or do engage political parties or the leadership of the country that persons with disabilities need to be on the decision-making table. Yes.
And in terms of, you know, capacity building, because you're saying that you've been running a program for inclusive elections in Kenya for, is it 2 years now?
Yeah.
What are you doing on the front of, you know, empowering those who are vying, who are persons with disabilities, to be ready to face it off with the others who may not necessarily be persons with disabilities? Are you running programs also to just prepare them, to equip them, to tell them what to expect so that they have a competitive advantage? Because we all have to agree politics is a competitive environment. And yes, we're talking about some of the things that are being done that are barriers for persons with disabilities, but at the end of the day, you still have to be assertive and you still have to fight for the spaces. What are you doing also in terms of preparing those who are vying?
Thank you for that question. Now, in this program, first, we ensured that we do a program where we brought the political leaders on board, and this include the secretary generals and the executive directors of the political parties. And we brought also disability leadership, like organizations for persons with disabilities, and we had a conversation. And then onwards, we've been also informing with the help of various consultants and people who've got wide skills in governance, and we've been doing capacity building programs, and also even an exchange program. There is a month that we did an exchange program with a group in Uganda and also a group in Nigeria. So it was virtual though. So this really informed our constituents that they should not only rely on the tokens, you know. And the thing that we realized is that there is a difference in the way that they run their disability representation, like in Uganda. With them, they have a system where they elect their own representatives, like the famous American electoral college system, you know. And in Kenya, it's unfortunate we don't work with that one. And in Nigeria, it's almost the same. So you realize that these people have a way of engaging, and their representatives must be very accountable to them, you know, because...
so they directly elect whoever they want to represent their interests.
Yes. If a teller wants to be the Senate representative of people with disabilities, he has to campaign, he has to convince these people with disabilities that I am the one, you know, I will deliver. So when he is given that position, he has to deliver. Unlike in our case, and it's so unfortunate that in our case, we have to abide by the guidance or the demands of the political party leaders. You know, they appoint you, you can't do against their wish.
Yeah.
They must direct you on what to do. And that has really brought us down. And in that program as well, we have tried, in fact, it has been very, what would I say, a way of we exchange. It's not a program where you just train and you let people go. No, you come up with the ideas. The participants who are candidates, who are persons with abilities, they bring like, what if we do this? What if we do this? You know, and that's why the political parties bought the idea of inclusion. You know, and again, that's why these people with disabilities went to contest. In fact, they offered themselves for leadership, and I want to tell you that a number won their party primaries. You know?
And I was about to ask you now, after talking about that particular program and how you've been running it, if you compare the previous election and the one we are heading to, I know right now majority of them have been cleared, and you can already tell who is going to be on the ballot.
Yes.
In that population, how many, even in terms of percentage, are persons with disabilities, and is it a rise compared to the previous election? What trends are you reading?
I would say if we go percentage-wise, the percentage is still negligible. It's still below 10%. But the number, when we talk of the number compared to the previous election, the number is high.
Those who came out to vie,
the number is high. In fact, we have a database where we got the list of all persons with abilities who contested for both MCA, MP, and the Senate, and there are over 60. You know, unlike the other years, the previous years, where there would be 8, there would be 10. You know, yeah. So out of that number, we can say almost 2/3 wamepata clearance. They had been cleared to go vie for the Ninio. They were certified, and they own certificates from their political parties. And if you leave that alone, there are those who have decided to go independent. Like my colleague Halima. And these candidates were at some point aggrieved. In the political parties they were in, they got some road deal, or they got some things that really didn't go well with them. So they decided, like, the way I can go, the best way to do it
is go independent.
Is going independent.
But the vision didn't die.
The vision didn't die.
The vision didn't die.
And the only mission and vision there is to be elected.
All right.
You know.
Halima, just coming to you, just picking up from where he has left, because I was curious to know why independent. And Kajiado County is another competitive space, if you ask me. And I know there are people who've come out also to express their interest, some vying with what some would call big political parties. You know, what prompted you to go independent, and what is your game plan? Because we are also having this conversation in our country where there's been a lot of talk about women inclusion in leadership. You're a woman, you're a person with disability coming from a minority community. There's just so much that I would say is working against you. What are you doing to stay on track and to make sure that the vision that you have in you does not dim or does not die or fade away?
Thank you so much. First, I decided my vision should not die after the consensus, and my followers, my supporters in the county decided for me. In fact, I was like, okay, fine, let me just relax and wait for the nomination or anything else. Let it be. Then I was really pushed with my supporters. Mama, nenda independent. Go for independent, because you have us in heart. You have a vision for us and mission for us. And we are the voters, not the political parties or neither the person, the panel. Just go for the independent candidate. In fact, I took long because I decided the last minute to go and do my clearance with ORPP. It was ending on 3rd, and I did it on 2nd.
So you went at the very last
very last minute, because calls all over, pressure, people coming to my home. In fact, I got depression because of that. After doing my clearance, I got sick because pressure from my people. They told me, you've been working with the NGOs and you've been down at the grassroots doing a project for us. We know you are a performer, you can work for us. We know you and we want you to come and work for us. We don't look at the nature, we don't look at your tribe or your disability. We just want you to be on the ballot. So that's
How has it been like though?
Sorry?
How has it been like for you? Just coming out and saying you want to go for this competitive elective seat.
Yes.
And having all those working against you, the challenges that you've cited you're going through. What has been your experience been like?
My experience
How did the people, receive it? And what is it that you're doing to change their minds in terms of even you coming from a minority community, you being a person with disability, maybe they've not had a person with disability holding that docket before. How are you changing those biases?
Our sitting women representative, Mheshimiwa Janet Teya, she was a person living with disability. So
she set the pace?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we had one, and for all that, I was like, I have to work for my people. Whatever my vision I had for them, after working for the community, I can easily address the issues at the grassroots. Despite of personal issues of PWDs, the issues of community, because I've been working for the community at the grassroots in the entire county, handling projects for them. So despite on me going for as a person with disability, I am one of the persons at the grassroots, so I know the challenges and the issues from the community. So that's why I decided to go, not as a person with disability first, as a leader.
Yeah,
I decided
like
to go as a leader, not as a person with disability. Because when I first decided I'm going for this elective seat, there was a lot of social media challenges. People talking of anataka sympathy vote. And my response is this: I am not looking for sympathy vote, I'm looking for leadership, because I am a leader like any other person. I went to school like any other person, no any sympathy examination at the exam room, no any sympathy in when I apply for a job, they say because she's a disabled, we give her sympathy chance. So I am seeking for leadership and kazi. Natafuta kazi, niwafanyie kazi watu wa Kajiado. Yes.
Just to relate to what she has said, because the reason I asked her that question, because we know there are certain biases and myths that people still associate disability with. There's a lot of stigma that persons with disabilities have suffered. Some still struggling to even be accepted in the education system, in employment, in other spaces that are critical in the society, leave alone even leadership. So here we have persons with disability who are passionate to go for these leadership positions in a society that is still struggling to fully accept and embrace that disability is normal, that a person with disability is just as equally a human being. How are you dealing with those issues, the societal and the cultural biases against persons with disability?
Really, the societal myths and misconceptions in regards to disability is really still there, and it's one of the issues or the challenges we face, I would give you an example. It's so easy for one to admire a lady like you, who is physically sound, if that would go for it, unlike to a lady who is either having albinism, a physical challenge, or deaf, or visually impaired. You know, so when one, for example, when one is convinced, you know, nowadays we are the nation, the world is being civilized, and you will find that there are few who do have interest in them, date them, and even go ahead and plan to marry them. But again, when they go home, when they take them home to the parents, you know, what would their parents say first? You know, some are asked, wani umeangalia tu kuote ni huyu umepata.
So there's still those you know, myths and lack of knowledge.
Yes. So it still happens even in politics. And there is this myth that relate disability with bad luck or something. Like there are political parties that still believe there are leaders or we have sports programs. There is the sitting volleyball program. There is the amputee football, and there is the persons with albinism football program, and the short stature, the ones you know, So through these programs, when we do the games, that's when we also engage. For those who come to watch, you know, you convince them, and also through programs like this. You know,
to create awareness.
To create awareness. It's where even some leaders will even get sense that indeed these people are able to do 1, 2, 3. My colleague Halima just talked about the exams we do. You know, we study like any other person.
Yes, of course,
we do the same exams. If it is NEC, if it is, I mean, CASNEB or something.
So it's not a favor.
It's not a favor.
It's actually something that you rightfully deserve.
So
all right.
For me to seek the elective seat, I'm not seeking as a favor. I'm seeking like any other woman in the country.
All right. Allow me to just put a comma there. It's a very insightful conversation. We are coming back to continue with it. Allow us just take a very short break. Yes, this is News Check. We are talking about inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics as we head to the 2022 general election. This conversation continues after the break.
Kupata lazima nishike. Kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *811 *962#.
Lazima nishike mapema. Nisiposhika hii simu mapema utakasirika. Unajua mimi nikiwa mtu wa marathon najua niko na experience kabisa. Niko na experience. If you don't hurry, you will not break the record. Okay, wacha nishike hii simu.
Kupata lazima nishike, bonyeza *811 *962#. *811 *962#.
As campaign intensified for the upcoming general election, what does all this mean for you, the voter? What do the candidates have to offer? How prepared are agencies charged with the election process? Join John Kuria and Serfine Achieng on Kenya Decides. This and every Tuesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 as we unpack elections 2022 with a panel of various stakeholders. Make informed electoral decisions. Top sports attractions on KBC Channel 1. In July, Kenya Morans face off against the DRC, Egypt and Senegal in the FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt from 1st to 3rd of July 2022. Also in July, Kenya plays South Africa in Rugby League test matches in Nairobi with the return fixtures set for October. Still in July, watch the World Athletic Championships from 15th to 24th July live from Oregon, USA as Kenyan athletes seek glory. Followed by the 22nd Commonwealth Games from 28th July to 8th August live from Birmingham, England. In August, join our coverage of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships from the 1st to 6th of August 2022 from Cali, Colombia. Then in November, catch the World Half Marathon Championships on 13th November from Yangzhou, China. Now that's what sets us apart as KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. This is News Check. In case you're just joining us, a program that seeks to explore issues shaping the news in the country. And of course, as we head to the general election in August, we are talking about the developments on the campaign trail as different political parties and players in this electoral process are going about traversing different parts of the country to woo the electorate and, of course, put forth what is the agenda for the country. And this particular morning, our message is you cannot have an election without a critical part of the population, and that is persons with disabilities. We are talking about including persons with disabilities in politics and in the electoral process. What are some of the gaps? What are some of the barriers that as a society we have created to make them invisible when it comes to elections? And that is what we are discussing this morning with my panel. I'm having Joseph Atela, who is the Executive Director of the Consortium of Disabled Persons Organization in Kenya, and Halima Sheriff. She's a woman representative candidate in Kajiado County, going independent, and she has told us why she has decided to do this. Of course, we have talked a lot about some of the bottlenecks to the presence of persons with disabilities in politics in this particular country, and I just want us to carry that conversation on. And before we took the break, Halima, I just wanted to discuss with you more on your experience on the campaign trail. So I believe you're not the only person in this race for the woman representative in Kajiado County. There are others who are on the race as well, just like yourself. So you are on the campaign trails. They are also on the campaign trail.
There are 7 of us.
7 of you.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it that you're doing to stay ahead of the game based on the challenges that you have cited earlier as a person with disability, as a woman, as coming from a minority community? What are you doing? Because we are looking at a win. We are not looking at anything other than that.
Thank you.
What is it that you're doing to encourage those who are in this journey, such as yourself, candidates who are persons with disabilities? What is it that you're doing that you feel is going to work for you?
Thank you so much again. My strategy is I'm working with the people themselves at the grassroots. I have people in different communities, leaders from different communities. I have a representative of all the communities, and also youth and women and widows and persons with disability. I have them on board. I have one-on-one contact with my supporters, because that one makes me get more strength, because going for the rallies and seeking votes at the platform, it's not making a plus for you. They will just hear for you, but selling your manifesto is very important and very crucial, because you have to convince your supporters what you are doing to them, what you will do for them, and you sell your manifesto grassroots, and
but people
you
are
make
excited.
them understand.
People are excited with these rallies. They're excited with the political statements in these rallies. I mean, doesn't that concern you if you don't go that direction as a candidate?
You know, for me, I don't go as that direction, because I have my manifesto and I have my track record. As a leader, you have to sell your track record also. You just don't wake up one day and say you want to be a women representative and you don't have a track record and what you've done for the community. So when I was working with other organizations, I have projects and things I've done for the community. Thank you, my director, because we've been working closely with him, with the consortium of disabled person in Kenya, doing a lot of empowerment to youths with disability, women and girls. Also with my organization of Kenya Livestock Marketing Council, we've been doing a lot at the grassroots, doing a poverty eradication program to the societies, issuing gala goats, dairy goats, and also income generating activities for the societies when the drought was too harsh for them. Also, when the corona was there, we partnered with him and other organization, Hope Foundation of Africa Women. We did a lot of programs with women and girls and youths, empowering them, issuing food, sanitizers, medication. So those are the track records I'm selling to my community, for them to give me the chance to work for them at a larger platform, because working with an organization, we identify pilot projects. Maybe we can work with one sub-county. But when you elect me as a...
You can escalate that to other counties.
Yes.
All right. I want to know more about what your agenda is, but we'll talk about that later. Have you experienced the comments of or concerns from people who feel that maybe if they elect you as the woman representative, you will represent persons with disabilities, but you see this seat is open for not just persons with disabilities, it's for women, for youth, and those who are sort of like the minority. Have you gotten those kind of concerns, or people being a bit skeptical about electing you based on those fears?
No, I've not got the concern from the community, but for my fellow contestants,
and how are you demystifying?
They even when we go for meetings, people tells me, tukikuchagua utatufanyia kazi ama utafanyia walemavu, because when they go at the grassroots, they say projects zilikuwa za walemavu ama nichague mimi kwa sababu niko na miguu ya kukimbia mkiwa mmenichagua niwafanyie kazi. But I don't think when you are elected as a woman representative, you go there, run in the parliament, you go work and address issues. It's your brain and you're hard working, not running as because my leg is not the one talking of disability issues in the parliament, or women issues, or youth issues in the county. So I don't, the challenge I get, it's not from the society, it's from my fellow.
All right. Okay. So, and one unfortunate thing that people fail to understand is that this is a club that anybody can join any day, any minute.
It is.
I mean, you never decide that you're joining this club. It just happens.
It happens. Because,
say for those who are born like that, the others who just...
was so able. Mheshimiwa Gertrude, Danita, and unfortunately it happened. So it is a club. You can join anytime. So
So before you start using disability against someone, know that it's a club that anyone can join any minute.
Any minute, any time.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Joseph, let's talk about the manifestos and the issues that ought to shape this this political season that touch on persons with disability and their interest. And later you'll tell me a bit more about your manifesto as well. Yeah. But let's talk about what you talked about earlier. You said that one of the milestones you celebrate is that there are certain political parties that have started including issues that affect persons with disabilities as part of their manifestos. Yeah. Just tell us a bit about what are the main issues when you're talking about persons with disability and their interest and how you want to serve their interest as a political party or as a candidate. What are these issues coming from persons with disabilities themselves, Joseph?
Serfine, one of the issues that really affect people with disabilities when we live alone financial constraints is health. And this year alone, like 3 to 4 women with disabilities passed on due to challenges of related to health, and it's unfortunate that they were expectant,
maternal health.
So there should be these political parties should ensure that in their manifestos, our inclusion is not only supporting us with the walking aids, the hearing aids, and even, the white canes or something. That one is already there. What we want is an environment where healthcare is given first priority. We want a situation where a given political party gets into leadership with the cards that are provided by the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. After assessment, thorough assessment, and vetting, with that card, we are willing that these political parties allow people with disabilities access healthcare free of charge in public institutions. Again, business-wise, I want to tell you that like 15% of persons with disabilities living in Nairobi only are educated up to Form 4 level, and these people are not formally employed. Majority are not formally employed. So what these people do are small-scale businesses. So if a leadership can give support, financial support, and again, friendly markets or friendly places where they can do their businesses, that will make this constituent, our constituent, depend on their own, So another issue that really needs to be sorted is the issue of, what would I say, the relationship between persons with disabilities and both private and public institutions. You find that one has money, has some little cash. He or she wants to get into a restaurant somewhere. So there are a number of restaurants that have blocked some people with disabilities to, they relate them with
beggars,
with begging, So this is a culture that we really don't want to go on. So empowerment, economic empowerment, health, and good public relations. And again, when we go to the transport sector, it's really not friendly. It has been left to the private sector, and it's not accommodative. It's very embarrassing if you can see how a woman with disability on wheelchair, who is on wheelchair, at sometimes I know those people who run the business, like the conductors and the drivers, they are really willing to help these people. But the way they are even handled into the matatus and the likes is very unfriendly. So we have to adopt a system, and it works in our neighboring counties like Rwanda. If we can make this public system, and it's a matter of working with the private sector, you know, the public sector working with the public with the private sector, so that when I want to use a matatu, I can use it comfortably. When a blind person wants to use a matatu, or when a wheelchair user, we can easily access and even feel like any other person in there. Unlike now, that when I get into one, I wonder where my legs will be, you know?
Or how you'll get there. And as a woman, sometimes it's very intrusive, how you have to be carried from your wheelchair to the seat in the matatu. And women, fellow women may sometimes may not be able to do that. So it's you know, it's left upon the men to help you to come from your wheelchair to. And during rush hour, you know how it goes. Sometimes you may not be very lucky as a person with disability.
And adding on that, when it comes to, because constitutionally we have a right to be represented in the Senate, National Assembly, and the county assemblies. And there is this, the two-third gender principle. We want it in their manifesto, that when giving women topping up, the top up to fit the two-third gender rule, women with disability should be given like a priority. You know, these are women. Some are marginalized, like Honorable Lima here, and also adding on that, they are able. A number of us, of these women, are educated. You know, they can as well deliver. So.
You look beyond the disability.
Yes, you look beyond the disability.
I'll come back to you, but I'd just like also Halima to add on to that, because she has been part of this advocacy for also a very long time. What would you want featured in some of these party manifestos, you know, that would serve the interest of persons with disabilities in a more effective way?
I would wish for the parties in Kenya to feature us as persons with disability in leaderships, because first and foremost we are part and parcel of voting process, elective process. So we would wish them to give us that upper hand. Again, as he has said, health sector has not been very friendly for persons with disability, especially for women. In maternal health, as he has mentioned, we've lost 3 of us DPO leaders on maternal health when they were delivering. We have young babies already left by their mothers just because of the maternal health. We need it to focus on persons with disability, to have that special section for us, at least and disability friendly, for us to be more, you know, more included. I don't know what to say, because
and even access
for women,
even access to antenatal care, you know, services at the hospital. And a woman with disability is pregnant when they go to hospital to access services. Do we have trained healthcare professionals?
I was coming there because we've been advocating. I was working with the Disability Organization, Disability Trust, and we've been advocating for that reproductive health and girls and women with disability issues in the country. We were working with this 9 county, and I think it will expand the program to 10 more counties. We want trained nurses, trained doctors on on how to handle women with disability, and also in general persons with disability, because persons with disability who is a deaf can come to the hospital and there's no sign language interpreter. So you are being diagnosed in a wrong way, given wrong medication. That person ends up getting more complication and even losing that person because of wrong medication. So we've been advocating for it, and we would wish with the the political parties to have the issues addressed, because when they are elected, you know, the nomination slot is very minimal for us, and we can't have voice of only 4 people at the National Assembly to address it.
All the issues.
Yeah, all the issues, and also disability issues. So for them to...
I'm curious to know though, because some of these issues you're citing, like even accessibility, others have been captured in law. For example,
but it's still in papers,
as we speak,
you know, it can be captured.
There is the obligation that you're supposed to make your, if for example it's a building, you make it accessible for persons with disabilities, and you have ramps that are properly constructed to ensure that place is accessible. It's in law, right?
Yes,
is it difficult to implement, or is it expensive, or is it lack of goodwill, or what is going on?
Lack of goodwill, I can say. Lack of goodwill, and also it is not coming out as it is supposed to be in the constitution. So I think even we've been talking as DPOs in the county, Kajiado County, on county must have when the physical planning on construction, they must make it a must for all the constructors to make disability-friendly buildings, and also those buildings which were there before, they should make it as a must. They go and tell them it should be a disability-friendly, you know, because me and him, we can't just go and tell a private sector this building is not it is not a disability friendly. But with the government and county government, national government, they can have that mandate and tell a building lazima ikuwe disability friendly.
When it comes to...
Just as you add on that, there is the Disability Act of 2003 that also gives a provision for employment of persons with disability, you know? Like there's a threshold that has to be met, and it's a requirement by law. I mean, is this just too difficult to implement, or what is it? What is the problem? Were we too ambitious by setting up this piece of legislation, or what?
Really, the 5% minimum requirement really go together with the accessibility, and in the accessibility there is this adjustment order that was issued, I think, from 2004, and it lapsed. It gave room for the private and public building owners to do some, internal audits and find a way of making these buildings accessible or something, you know. So after that, we realized nothing was being done. But again, we also, on the other hand, you say that you blame your chicken, and also you blame the mongoose that came to eat that chicken. You know, we've been having representation, and I can say it's so bad that the cartel in the system have not allowed them to ensure or push for the implementation of the accessibility. You know.
It goes back to lack of goodwill.
Lack of goodwill, yes. Yeah. So this really has come with disadvantages, and up to date. In fact, in the PWD's Act of 2003, there is a section that gives incentives to those who have met these, demands, you know. So when we come to 5% minimum employment requirement, so far, I don't think there is an organization or institution that has met it. But, and again, it's so unfortunate that it's the private sector. There is one company in the private sector, a telecommunications company, that has really come close to it. They are at around 3.5 to 4% employment. And it's very ironical that the government that should really push for this, we are still not even represented in all the boards. Of these parastatals or state agencies, you know. So how would one push for that if the government itself, you know, is so relaxed at
doesn't have the goodwill
implementing that?
So we have the law, but then again, we are lacking in how we are going about implementing the law that we have put in place to safeguard the interests and the rights of persons with disabilities.
Yeah, we have the law, but the goodwill is not there.
Now, third one, so you are forgetting about the AGPO, access to government procurement opportunities. You know, we are still, it's 30%, it should be 30% advantage.
30%.
This inclusive of women and youth.
And
you know,
disability.
So even that one, it's nowhere to be seen.
All right.
So
I'd like us to look at something that at least what we know that is in the public domain is that one of the political outfits has already made public their manifesto that I understand has a section that has been dedicated for how it's going to serve the interests of persons with disabilities. I don't know whether any of you has interacted with the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance manifesto and its provisions and promises for persons with disabilities. Have you?
Yes.
What is it that stands out for you, or what is it that disappoints you about it? Any of you can jump in on that.
Thank you so much, Serfine. With the Azimio la Umoja manifesto, it has turned out to be the most favorable and best for persons with disability. But as a candidate who is persons with disability, I would really wish to ask the party leader and party leaders of Azimio to make sure the manifesto is well implemented, because as we know, things are in papers, and once elected, it is shelved and kept aside. So
it could just be promises, but
let it not be promises, because this time round we are watching. We are out here as leaders of persons with disability. We need it to be in practice, not in papers.
All right. Just as you come in, let me just, in the interest of our viewers, just to run you through some of the things that I captured on the manifesto concerning persons with disabilities. And one thing is that this is a commitment that if their presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga is elected as president, they're going to ensure that persons with disabilities are treated with respect by including developing a comprehensive program to support and ensure that they live in dignity, make public spaces and facilities, including toilets, accessible for PWDs, integrate PWDs into society and the economy as much as possible. This includes services such as access to affordable credit and other economic opportunities. And of course, another provision there is review the existing legal and policy frameworks relating to PWDs with a view of enhancing their participation in society. The other one is permanent tax exemption. So that's just some of the provisions that are there in the manifesto touching on persons living with disabilities. Any comment on that? Anything that stands out for you?
Serfine, if I be honest,
yes,
I would say that the Azimio party leader is one of the persons that have really, in the history of our nation, has really fought for the rights of human beings in this country. And coming onto this manifesto, I want to say that I strongly believe he has captured universal health care, you know. So there is no government that has really come out before, in the previous elections, before even they were elected, that they would do such a thing to people with disabilities, you know. So with the support of the deputy, in fact, the Azimio leaders' political party is one of those political parties that I was telling you that had included the Disability League policies in their constitution. So it's the party, it's the leadership. If we pray that they get into power, this is the leadership that is going to make changes. We've interacted with their top leaders, and we've interacted with their, middle and disability league leaders, and there is goodwill. There is political goodwill in that wing of Azimio. And again, when they talk about inclusion, dignity, living with dignity, you know, that's so important to us. We are out of a generation where we would be categorized as people who would be seen as seeking for charity model, you know, where when you meet me outside there, you want to give me 10 shillings, that is not even going to sustain my life in 3 minutes, you know. So we want such kind of manifestos, and we trust, this leader.
But are you interrogating the practicability of it and the sustainability of it? There was a concern you raised earlier, Halima, as to whether this is just going to be a beautiful promise on a piece of paper and nothing to show for it several years down the line. I mean, haven't you heard such promises before?
I started by telling you that in the previous elections, there hasn't been an incoming government that had given such a colorful or conspicuous manifesto that regards lives of people with disabilities. So for the first time, and this, I want to inform you that this was not just done like somebody just sat and did it. It was consultative for information. Yeah, so we trust. And implementation of all this just needs partnership and goodwill. And from the word go, apart from some few challenges with the makeshift podiums that are not inaccessible, there are something that they are doing, and we keep engaging them, that they are doing, that have convinced us, and they have even given us a room for following up on such issues, you know. Yeah, so we want engagement. You don't come on the podium and promise that I will nominate so and so because he has worked with us. That is not binding. You know. So if you do it on paper, we have brilliant legal minds, you know, and
can hold you to account.
Yes, and we've gone to courts before, and we are able to go again. So in other words, I'm saying that we are very, very hopeful with the Azimio party manifesto, and our prayer is that they just ensure that it is implemented to the latter.
All right, and we're still waiting to compare this with other political outfits who will be unveiling their manifestos, and candidates who are going to be unveiling their manifestos in the coming days, to see whether there is a section dedicated for persons with disabilities and how they seek to address their interest in the event that Kenyans decide to vote them in to be to form the next government.
In fact, we expect those other coalitions to have one, because the trend that we do have is that when Party A does this, Party B normally wants to counter by giving, I mean,
much better
promises, you know?
It's not even about countering. Let's just hope they will, because it's the right thing to do, right?
Yes.
Because persons with disabilities need to
it's
be...
only the goodwill will work.
Let me just take you through also something that I don't know whether any of you were at the attended the meeting that Raila Odinga had with persons with disabilities at Nyayo Stadium. This was around May in 2022, where he made quite a number of promises. Again, this was before he launched his manifesto. I was just looking at some of the promises he made and how realistic they're going to be in terms of implementation. For instance, he promised to double the number of public service employees living with disabilities by reviewing the Persons with Disability Act of 2003. Just to increase the employment opportunities of persons with disabilities in public institutions from the current 5% to 10%. You were saying earlier that 5% has not been achieved. How is 10% going to be achieved? I mean, are you not asking this question?
It's not realistic because first I come back again. Political parties should have the goodwill so that to achieve this 5%. Because already we have the 5% and it is not achieved. So
10%, is it possible?
10% for me,
for you, realistic. What do you think?
Not realistic.
Ensure that they award tenders, more tenders for persons with disabilities to ensure more employment opportunities. He promised also free education for PWDs in public institutions, and promised also to split the disability fund and the into entrepreneurship and welfare kitties. So the disability fund to be split into two: welfare kitties and a part of it to go into entrepreneurship for persons with disabilities. First, some of the promises.
First, there, the disability fund. I think it's a national council.
I wanted to give my input in regards to that.
Yes.
I want to tell you that Honorable Raila hasn't just come from nowhere with that kind of promise. I participated in the amendment of the Persons with Disabilities Act 203. And currently, there is a bill, the Persons with Disabilities Amendment Bill of 2020. You know? So there are changes that have been done that, and some enforcements that have been done in a number of sections, you know? So, for example, the Disability National Fund for persons with disabilities, it has been taken away from the National Council.
It is a government institution now.
Now it is being taken to the Treasury. It's the Treasury that will have, I mean, there is an unit that is formed as well, a body that is in the process, and also the Treasury will be in charge of this, will be guiding on how this will be implemented.
How is that a good thing? If you are to address a person with disability, to understand why it was taken from a body that was initially crafted to address their needs and interests, the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and it's moved to National Treasury, which does not necessarily, address the interests of persons with disabilities alone. How is that a good thing?
First, Council being this Council is managed as a department within the Ministry of Labour currently. So even as we speak right now, there are funds that have not been disbursed. They are yes in the budget, but have not been disbursed to the accounts of the Council. And there is even programs, economic empowerment programs, that cannot even run as we speak. You know, so if these funds are given to institutions that are specifically for managing funds, it will be easier. So what will be done is just ensuring that good committees are put in place just to do, check on how the implementation is done. So it's very practical. With the 10% employment, I think with that one, it's a bit high. We have to meet the 5%, yes. But again, with the law that is being, the policy is being reviewed, you know. So it has pushed. There is a number of sections that have pushed the institutions that will be liable for following up on such
Whether
issues.
that is done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Until it is done, then we will be convinced.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But before then, it still remains beautifully written on a piece of paper.
Thank you.
Yeah, true.
That's what I can say.
Until it's done. Thank
Until
you.
it's done,
Yeah.
we will just see it on paper and we'll say yes, we have that provision,
But
and that is it.
we must also give credit where it's due, because previously they were not in their minds.
Yes.
You know. So the moment they put it, they include it. Now what remains is strong follow-up, you know, and engaging them. You know, yeah. So it's normally good. You know, me personally, I don't like the habit of just complaining without knowing what you are complaining about.
Yes.
You know, first you need to ensure that you are inside there, then you follow up or make noise because you know you are
From
inside
an
there.
informed point of view.
Yes.
All right.
I just
your
want to
addition
add
as
what
we
he
just
has
about
said.
to close this conversation.
Yeah, 2 minutes. I just want to add on what he has said, and we thank the process, because the process has been inclusivity, because the DPOs has been part and parcel of the process. So let's hope in the near future, after the election, we'll have the process still, because this political journey, it's a process. So we have to, because we have the DPOs on the process, let them do it after the election, to have that process again and have them on the table to make the decision as persons with disability as after election.
Well said, Halima. And I
Thank
don't want us to wind up before I give you at least 1 minute to tell the people of Kajiado County why they should vote you as the woman representative. What is your agenda in 1 minute?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Serfine. I am Halima Sharif, independent candidate, women representative, Kajiado County, and in front of this camera, seeking for support from my people from Kajiado County, and I seek for that support because I am the candidate who is.
What are the three things? What are the three things you want to do for your people if elected?
I am going to work for women, persons with disability, youth, orphans, and widows. And those are the three sectors I will, including men and young boys. I will have on board job opportunities for young men, young girls, economic empowerment for the entire society in Kajiado. Please give me the chance. I have a manifesto to launch very soon. As a person with disability, I am seeking for a leadership position, not a sympathy position. Please elect me as a woman representative of Kajiado County. I will perform. I will work for you. And thank you so much. Halima Sharif, independent candidate, #1 on the ballot. My symbol is a woman carrying the luggage. I want to carry luggage for Kajiadans. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, Halima Sharif, for that. And of course, also, just to give you a chance for your final remarks, we are less than 60 days to the August polls. We are talking about inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics. What would be your closing remarks?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Serfine. We don't take this for granted. First, I would like to call upon all persons with disabilities across the country to ensure that they are part of this electoral process. They need to play their part, as well as ensure that they also mobilize the disability leaders at different ground levels. They should ensure that they mobilize and work closely with available organizations or charity organizations that can help transport our people to polling stations. And also, I have a message to our good partner, the IBC, that the polling stations need to be accessible to all kinds of disability, not only putting ramps, there should be sign language interpreters in those stations. And finally, as I conclude, I thank the leadership of our country for at least the far and the support they've accorded us, and much has not been done. But again, we believe in the incoming leadership. We've kept them on check. We've been working with them in their political journey. So we believe and we just ask or remind them that they need to continue engaging people with disabilities. Inclusion should really be embraced. This is well stated in our constitution, and it is well stated in the UN CRPD and even the African Charter, So there shouldn't be an excuse. And they should also ensure that people given opportunities to represent are people who are well conversant with the work they are given or mandated to do. Right. They shouldn't just pick anyone from anywhere, because we don't want a Bora representation. We want representation Bora. Yeah. Otherwise, this can be done. And thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph Atela, the Executive Director of the Consortium of Disabled Persons Organizations in Kenya, and Halima Sharif, the Woman Representative Candidate in Kajiado County, for creating time for us this morning just to talk about inclusive politics as we head to the August polls. That's how we wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Tamrini is coming up next, and Kurunzi Mashinani.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.